simply because you have to go through these large-scale clinical trials, and not a lot of people have early-stage pancreatic cancer, and so it's very hard to get all the samples I need for my clinical trials, and to get more, I have to buy them at $5,000 pop. And also, I'm a high school student, I have better things to do, like prom and homework, so that's become a bit of a roadblock as well.
So I work in a cell biology lab, and we're actually doing something very similar in designing a test against a protein found in many different cancers as well. So I would like to know, basically, we're not using nanotubes or anything like that. What is the detection process like using nanotubes, and how exactly does it work to make it more efficient in the screening process?
Yeah, so essentially, this test is like kind of like a pH strip. It's about the same size, and all you do is you take 6 microliters of the sample, you just drop it on the test strip, and then you just wait you take an initial reading, then 5 minutes later you take another reading, compare the difference, and then you compare on the calibration curve. So it's a pretty simple test, and then it can detect, the detection range is down to 0.156 nanograms per milliliter. So pretty good simple. Did that answer your question?
Yes. So what exactly are you measuring? So for instance, if we're using just an antibody detection, we're measuring to see if it detected just the presence of the secondary antibody or something like that attached to a fluorescence.
What you're doing is you're measuring how many mesothelin molecules are binding to the antibody, and that is the signal is in the form of a change in resistance.
You could imagine that the nanotube bundles tend to kind of like a plate of spaghetti. They kind of weave in like that, and you can kind of loosen the weave. I think that's sort of the idea. So you can sort of put into the interstices in around the spaghetti, push it apart. Here's another question up here.
Thank you for taking the time to come down here. Question about just teams and your parents and sort of support system. I mean, it's a great story, all the work you've done, but at some point, I'm guessing someone had to drive you, or at least maybe you stayed in the lab and stuff there, but someone had to drive you around. Can you just talk about that?
Yeah, actually there were several times I slept over at the lab. We had a bunch of scientific journals over here, and you would just take them and just kind of lie them with the mattress under the stairs. And my lab mentor once discovered me because I woke up late, and he was just like, "Jack, what are you doing?" However, that was an embarrassing moment in my life. However, initially my parents were actually very against me doing this. They're like, cancer research, you're 14, you can't get into a lab, because actually that was a lot of the reason for the rejections is apparently it's child labor that got paid. So I became a volunteer who was conveniently placed in the correct lab. So that was an interesting legal process. However, eventually I got my parents on board after I got accepted into a lab, and pretty much every single day after school they would drive me to a lab, and then my mom would sometimes wait there until 2 a.m. reading books. So she read a lot of books, and then I would do a lot of science, and then I would come out and then go to school at 5 a.m. So very sleepless nights. And I'd do like homework in between tests. Yes.
Do you envision this maybe someday being so routine and affordable that maybe people just, in the course of having a physical, have it, or would it only be something maybe if they have a health problem?
Yeah, so essentially what's really nifty about this sensor is its cost, and that allows it to be used for just general screenings. So you could essentially just go to your doctor, and when they draw blood, it would just be one of the tests that they take. And then if it is positive, then you go into further screening. And so that's essentially how I envision it. And so hopefully within 10 years, you will have this available. Yeah.
So have you ever taken a pancreatic cancer patient's blood and tried it?
Yeah, we did this on 6 patients.
And did it correlate with the degree of the diagnosis of cancer or the stage of pancreatic cancer they had? Or?
So mesothelin, unfortunately, does not indicate stage. That's one of its problems. However, this is kind of like a check engine light, essentially, for your cancer, because it's present in many forms of cancer. It's not specific for pancreatic. So you would actually go for additional screening.
You mentioned how efficient or how inefficient
of pancreatic cancer treatment is that currently there are kind of two ways. There's like the Whipple procedure where they kind of just hack out your entire pancreas, and then the other procedure is chemo. And chemo isn't necessarily very effective because the pancreas forms this very hard shell, and drugs are very hard to get past that shell. So there's some really promising work about getting it through that shell, and we're looking at a bunch of different things. However, I don't really do treatment side that very easily confuses me, unfortunately. But I do not know, other than that, any other treatments. Yeah.
I'm guessing not all of your encounters with the educational system have been pleasant. What on your list of things that you might change is what rises to the top?
So probably the largest problem with our current science education, I'll just go with that, is that we kind of have a bulimic education system where we just cram facts down someone's throat and then make them puke it up on the test. While in fact that's really skewing the image of science, where science is more the pursuit of curiosity and answering questions and asking them. And so I suggest more hands-on activities and just having people learn things through like science and stuff like that. So like lenses law you can learn through like using your cell phone and things like that.
Makes good sense.
Yeah.
So, kind of along the same lines of that, you mentioned like a lot of your team members in this like to join in like projects like this, there's that final and stuff, but that happens in college too. And there's a lot of other things to worry about like your GPA and if you're going to get a job before you go out on the limb or something like this. So I was wondering if these pursuits just aren't for everyone, or if there's something you can tell other students that
It's an interesting question. I mean, really I think that the personal experience I gained from this was a lot, like 100 times more valuable than learning yet another date in AP World History. However, I mean, it's pretty easy to get grades at my school. It's an inner city school where essentially if you turn your homework, you get an A. So it's pretty easy for me to do projects on my own here. However, I would definitely choose my projects over grades any day just because they're much more interesting to me than grades. That might not be the most real-life practical method though. But that's just...
tell your team members to do that?
Oh no, I didn't tell my team members to do that. I was just like, oh, that's sad, but okay. I let people make their own choices.
What process did you use to source your carbon nanotubes?
So what?
Source your carbon nanotubes? How did you get your carbon nanotubes? What did you use to make them?
Oh, so I actually just bought them offline. So they were relatively inexpensive, but yeah. I just bought them from Sky Spring Nano. Yeah, they're pretty cheap. And then you just disperse them with this thing called polysodium fluorostyrene sulfonate, and you can buy that for like $30 for like just dry container.
So I guess kind of in the spirit of what Keith was saying at the beginning of the lecture, like we've done all these great things, and it's great to hear the story, but like where are you headed now? What are your goals? What are your pursuits for the future?
So right now I'm trying to do some environmental work, and then also I'm also working on open access, because one of the major problems in research science is getting access to articles, especially for young scientists. I mean, each article costs $35, and for a typical science fair project, it's like 200 articles. So that was like all of my Christmas and birthday money right there. However, right now I'm working with the Right to Research Coalition and some other people, and last year we got the Obama administration to pass this executive order essentially saying that all federally funded research has to be freely available to the public within 6 months of publication. And this is actually a really major problem, not only because, like, I mean, first off, we've kind of created this fundamental barrier between the public and science, where you have to pay $35, and when pay period single costs 99 cents, and some of the science articles cost $35, that's a bit of a message we're sending there. But also, especially with institutions, I mean, Harvard recently released a statement saying we simply can't afford these articles anymore. And when the richest academic institution in the world can't afford to pay its articles, how can we expect everyone else to? And so that's what I'm trying to work up to, is getting it such that everyone can get these for free.
So you mentioned it will take more than 5 years to apply this technology. Have you ever thought of or looked into applying it abroad, particularly like in
Yeah, so we are looking at that, and it would probably be for some infectious diseases like HIV/AIDS, and also we are looking at doing some. We're working with this group at Columbia right now about transferring it into HIV/AIDS and some other diseases. So we're looking into that. But for the pancreatic cancer one, unfortunately, incidences in a lot of those less developed nations is very, very low. It's not really on the public health radar, unfortunately. So we're looking, like we're also looking at employing it in the UK because that is a much shorter bench to bedside time, of like 2 to 5 years. So we're looking abroad, but it will be a while.
So having a 17-year-old myself back in Pennsylvania, I can't believe I'm about to ask this question about patent law. But is there anything proprietary about your technology? Has it been patented? Is that rate limiting step to sometime take it to the clinic is getting a pharmaceutical company or to actually invest in it, and that has to be patented by definition?
Yeah, so I actually did get the international patent on the technology, and so right now I'm talking with 6 different biotech companies about getting it on the market. So we're in negotiation there. Unfortunately, I can't name any names just because of non-disclosure agreement things, but it's exciting. So hopefully we'll have a deal soon. Yeah.
Where do you schedule going in the future? It seems like you have a pretty big schedule of patenting and research and like, where do you see it going?
I actually have no clue, so I'm not sure what I want to be when I grow up. I'm not sure where I want to go to school. I'm not sure what I want to major in. So there are many unanswered questions. So I'll see. I'll just procrastinate that for as long as possible.
His brother goes to tech. I'm just saying. I'm just delivering facts.
The food's very good.
The food is.
You know, UVA is a great nanomedicine engineering program.
I'm wondering if that's a pitch. But yeah, actually, Professor Williams took me on a large tour, so I do like UVA. Campus is really awesome. So and there's like amazing Rotunda.
So there was some higher process interactions with a lot of robots that you weren't getting, and I was wondering what was one time when you felt like this is something that's definitely not going to work, and then how you came past that?
Oh yes. So there were a couple of times. One time was when you guys know the Western blot procedure? Yeah, so I had to do that, and that was awful. That was 3 months of my life, and it was terrible. I messed up so many times. If any of you guys who don't know what a Western blot is, hear that term, just run as far as possible. It's a terrible thing that you don't want to do. However, another time is I actually was trying, it was my first time trying to make the sensor after I'd optimized all these parameters. I ended up with this sludge, and that you can't really dip paper in, just kind of sludgy. So after I got sludged like for another 2 months, it was very difficult to get past that. However, eventually I found out like one of my ratios was off, and so then I was able to get it to work. But there were many times that I became discouraged. However, one thing that really kept me going was that 100 people die of pancreatic cancer every day. So when I would go to the lab, I think, how am I going to help save 100 lives today? So that was one big motivation things. Other questions? Is that really good?
You did it. Survived. Okay, thank you very, very much. Let's thank Jack will be around, so if you know how to get hold of me, either by Twitter or whatever, he'll be around for the rest of the day. And then I think we're headed up to DC tomorrow morning or so. There could be some time for some meetings and so forth. I'm going to be basically taking around some labs and visiting various people. Your phone is So thank you very much for attending. I hope we get to do this kind of thing more often. Really appreciate you coming. Thanks a lot. Have a good day. Wish you good. Hey, nice to meet you.
think one day we were walking somewhere and he asked if I had a manager on to do one thing in PDA to and there's a lot of different ways you can like reach out to a lot of people, but that's what it takes to get to realize that there's a way to do it. Because I've been talking to, it was really cool to get to and talk to Stanford.
No, absolutely. So my background is
who were representatives of this. And the thing I noticed most was I got the alert and he was talking about teaching resources and how even like the most confident teachers on they, I guess, just assume that this is something that gets in the way of,
so that's how you can actually, there's a whole
it's scary. It's not the and so we have to start somewhere. So I've been thinking a lot. Actually, I really would love to grab my
so my work that I was doing is making silly.
because I feel like you've been thinking about this for a very awesome. Okay. Yeah.
The main complication most by
I just wanted to say
Work hard.
Okay, right. So that's kind of what this is. So, the question was, your patent pending and file, is that with the technology of creating a screen antibodies, or just that specific? It's for messenger. Well, yeah, I want to like figure out what that is. Actually, if I contact information, it's totally okay.